Elon Musk rebrands Twitter to X. Maybe he's trying to partner with XRP, but I don't think so. I think he doesn't want any part of that Ripple, just the X. Welcome to Debate Crypto, where we question everything, trust nothing. Damn, where's this intro at? All right, welcome everybody to the show. Today is good old Monday. We're doing here with good old partners of the show, as always, to bring you the best TA and possible knowledge in the crypto space. Guys, we got a long time no see in this episodes and these shows here. We got CVO. What's going on, man? How you been?
What's going on, man? It's the boomer intro for me.
Dude, it's so many technical difficulties. I got like 5 screens set up. Everything's falling apart over here. And last but not least, we've got the best TA mine out here, always on the show, always great support. Bill Noble, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Dude, always excited to have the best conversations with the best minds in crypto, especially when it comes to TA and a good mix of crypto news. Today's been a wild day. Elon finally has rebranded to X.com and has put the X logo all over Twitter now. And it's created some controversy, right? He's also put up the Dogecoin D in his profile, and he's got the X. A lot of people in the XRP community a while back was, rumoring, is that going to be part of XRP? Are they partnering with XRP? I believe he tweeted maybe about XRP, or maybe that was fake news that was posted a few days ago. I saw on Twitter, or I should call X now. So I guess it's no longer tweeting; it's Xing now. When you send out a post, I don't know. What do you guys thoughts on what it's going to be called now?
Okay, well, I think with Twitter, Elon controls the narrative about a lot of things. So in order to keep Twitter relevant versus Meta's product, he just rebranded it to X and tried to make it cooler. So Zuckerberg copied Twitter by calling it Threads. And then Elon came out and was probably going to do this anyway, but he just said, okay, well, have fun with tweets and threads, and we're going to be X.
As we're going to be Xing all day, every day.
Right. It's, we're going to, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't mean this to you, of course, but, I kind of thought I was wondering X you. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the different ways you can start using X now that Elon has put it out there. Whatever.
Oh man,
I saw X meme coin going up.
Dude, 2,000%. Right, we're going to be talking about that as well. CVO, what are your thoughts on Elon Musk rebranding to X?
It's kind of odd, honestly. I feel like Twitter. I don't feel like there was any negative affiliation towards Twitter from anything or for any reason, and X is just kind of random. So I feel like it's probably almost like when he named all the cars, right? There's the Model S, X, Y, 3, and it's like, looking from afar, it's like spells sexy. I'm just wondering if he's gonna do some weird shit like with that and
marketing genius, bro.
But he does have, SpaceX. So that, I think it's just kind of his branding, kind of, all kind of tying together. So it's weird to me. Just kind of came out of nowhere, and it's with him, everything's so fast. It's like, oh, just doing this, and then it's like the next day it's done. Could something come around with Doge or potentially even XRP? Who knows? But if it does, I'm sure it'll hit pretty quick. But it's interesting. It's fun. It's good. It's good to see some change. I suppose it's just doesn't necessarily. It's kind of one of those things I wouldn't fix because it doesn't seem broken, but maybe he's got a bigger plan.
Yeah, he definitely has a bigger plan for what is coming with the X platform now. And he has, I believe he officially stated that he is going to be using Doge on the platform. So Doge was found in the source code. Bitcoin was there too, but I believe there's a rumor now that Bitcoin was removed from the source code, and now it's just Dogecoin, and that's why he has the Dogecoin logo on his profile. And we're going to quickly look at a video here of what he's going to talk about. And then we're going to be jumping into the TA. We're going to do some TA on XRP, some TA on Dogecoin, Ethereum, and a few other altcoins as well. And we got some other news talking about brick leaders, talking about de-dollarization, federal rate interest, a lot of different things happen. So guys, smash those likes. Go follow these two creators. Links are down below in the description, and greatly appreciate everybody out here. And if you're not a member of the show just yet, hit that membership button. Get some cool Fugazi emojis out there that I made for you guys, and blast those in the chat. So let's watch this this video here real quick. And let me share my screen, and then we can get our thoughts on his mastermind plan for XRP. That's what the XRP community wishes, but you know, that's a different story. So let me know if you guys can hear this.
Essentially, if done right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
Right, the X would be would serve people's financial needs to such a degree that over time it would become, I don't know, maybe half of the global financial system.
Wow.
Or some big number.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the number is, but pretty big. So it would be by far the biggest sort of.
So there you guys have it, right? We don't have to watch that whole thing now. But his basic plan is to have the X platform, which was Twitter, and make it into a huge financial hub as well, right? With you know, Dogecoin as one of the cryptocurrencies on there. Will we see? Do you guys believe that he will adopt XRP into the platform because of the X?
Well, not because of the X, right? Because he's got SpaceX, right? Now, if he wants to be half the financial system, that's actually kind of funny because he fired 90% of Twitter's employees. So I guess he's going to have to hire a lot of people or buy companies if he's going to be half the system. That's one thing I thought of. The second thing I thought of is if he's going to do that, he's going to need massive amounts of some crypto, right? So is he going to adopt one coin? I was thinking, God, if this guy wants to be half the financial system, he's going to have to buy the top 100. He's going to have to buy everything that could be used as money. Everything. Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, Doge. I mean, just go down the list. If you can buy an NFT with it, maybe Elon wants to have it on his platform. And it's really funny. How long do you think that's going to take for him to start rolling out something related to crypto?
I mean, I was under the impression that this X platform, once it starts becoming financial, it's going to already have Dogecoin implemented. And from my understanding, I think maybe this guy's going to be the catalyst of the next bull run, right? Maybe this guy's the catalyst, but this guy buys up, like you said, the top 100, a boatload of money, and just throws it all in there and says, hey, come trade on Twitter now, right? Twitter becomes the next big exchange, right? Hopefully it's not the next FTX, but, you know, in the next big exchange in this next bull cycle, and maybe that's what he's leading up to. CVO, what are your thoughts?
Man, it would make a lot of sense why he pushes or has pushed Doge so much in the previous couple of years, and I kind of agree with Bill. I feel like, you know, it probably wouldn't just be one coin, you know, but looking at any kind of other processor at the moment, at least, it doesn't just take usually one crypto. It's a couple of them that you get, you know, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, what have you. XRP, I'm sure, will probably be making its showcase here soon, a few of them as well. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting thing to see unfold, but I would see Dogecoin being like the key, and potentially XRP too. You know, why not? You know, it's X in the name, so I feel like he's got to, you know, just sprinkle in that little bit of you know, continual, you know, not branding, but just kind of adding on that X factor, I guess you could call it. And but yeah, Dogecoin popping off as like the main payment processor for, you know, the new Twitter, I think would definitely be there, and it's like already probably halfway underway to some degree.
Yeah, dude. You know, he works fast and he makes things happen. So he can get people tomorrow and create a financial system that you know, off Twitter. Anything's possible with this guy. So we mentioned XRP, we mentioned Dogecoin. Let's start getting into some of the actual TA now. Let's start off with XRP. I know the XRP maxes are out there like, give me my hit. I need my hit of XRP TA, right? What's going on? I thought we were going to the moon. I thought we were going to see 589. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. And even Elon could not pump the X coin up with this news. So what's going on with XRP? Bill, why don't we start with you? What are you seeing with XRP here right now?
Okay, well, it's pretty simple at the beginning, right? It's like this green candle didn't go past $1. I think XRP should have been a lot higher. Ripple Inc. is still in trouble with the SEC, and they may be the ones selling it, right? So the question isn't, is XRP down? The question is, why is XRP down? Most likely, we just need to know who the seller is. Now, I'm not going to speculate, but this should be a lot higher. Now, did the mark work? Right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you theoretically, you could have 6 more down days in XRP. If there's a failed rally tomorrow, then you will most likely get another 5 down days in XRP. Now, that said, you know, if you look at XRP on like a 90-minute chart, okay, you know, there was a bottom signal here, the 13 and the 9, and it didn't work. There's another bottom signal here with the 9 bottom. So XRP is at least responding to something, right? This brutal stop out, like let's give the XRP army some love. Let's say it is a bull market, right? If it really is a bull market, this was where everyone puked it out, right? So if you don't have 6 more down days, and I could give you one good reason why, is because this whole market is buy on green, sell on red. You know, just whatever happens on big up days just faded. So XRP should have gone up, didn't. It hit support and bounced, right? And most likely people are just getting stopped out and frustrated. And that's probably the way it's going to be for a month. And then the market's going to decide to go up after that.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. That's okay. Very interesting. So why do you have a reason for that 1 month time frame, or is that just something like, you know, something that just happens in the cycle?
Sure. Well, Venus went into retrograde, so that's a Gann planets thing. I associate Venus frequently with crypto, okay, and retrograde motion has to do with like its positioning in the sky. So Venus is going to be in a different sort of position in the sky or view between now and September, right? Okay. I'm taking a much more positive view on altcoins in general, right? I know that things may point to a new low. I can't wait to see what CVO says, but you know, I'm kind of hoping we can be more positive in general because, you know, they hyperinflated equities and then, you know, why not crypto?
Yeah, I agree, dude. I mean, I think that, you know, crypto is in a very interesting spot where there's a lot of events lining up, right, for this next bull run when it starts. And I feel like all of these things are really going to be massive catalyst events. I will continue to say that I do believe this next cycle could be a super cycle. If there's ever going to be one, it's this next one. It's got all the catalyst events for the last match, right? To just strike and just blast us off to where a point where crypto, I know crypto, there's no going back, right? We're already past the point of no return, but blast it to sky high where no institution, no major company or, you know, trading, banking individual could ever speak against crypto ever again. I think this next cycle is that moment. And I could be wrong, but I just have a feeling that everything is lining up perfectly for this next cycle to be one of the last moments before massive blast off. So CVO, what are your thoughts on XP? What are you seeing on your charts? Can Elon pump this thing?
Well, let's see here. Can Elon pump it? I just shared my screen. I'm not sure if you see it. All right, so try to keep it pretty simple on my end. We were in a really big range for quite a while, all the way back from like May of last year. You see a similar setup on this, by the way, on Chainlink and a couple other altcoins like Theta, some things that just kind of appear to have gotten like forgotten about in a sense. But either way, had a really nice, breakout, basically a nice pullback back into the range at the time, breakout again, consolidation over the value rate high. And then we had a really nice run up. And the one target I've really got my eyes on is going to be just above us at $1. It is a higher time frame gold pocket from one of these swing highs. More than anything, it's the average price of last year. It is the yearly pivot, right? Coming in at basically $1 flat. And the best part about it is that it's $1 flat, right? So everybody's big rounded numbers that, if we were to come up and get a nice little rejection right here, it would be easy to just give the excuse that it's because it was at $1 flat. So that's what I'd be looking for here in the short term. You had this push up. There's an old range back here from last year. I'll just kind of highlight it real quick. It's basically where we kind of butt our head up into, right? Just got a little bounce off of this region. Magic actually has a really good harmonic chart on this as well that this played out pretty much perfectly and due to time. If anybody didn't, I think I was on your last Thursday episode or something like that. He's covered that pretty well. But for me, I'm just looking to see Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think we're going to get a push up out of this just recent pullback that we're in now. Not to say we're going to make new highs, but even if we come up and make some lower highs and just get some upward price action for a bit, I could see XRP pushing up to this dollar spot, basically knocking out anybody shorting, right? Because everybody right now is heavily trying to short and get back to this 55-cent mark. The one reason I will say I like the 55-cent mark is looking back on the quarterly chart here. You can see how it's been a huge level for us to get through. Right, quarterly low here, wick up, wick up, wick up, wick up, and now we've kind of shot through it. So in theory, you would want to come back down and basically test that as support. And if we did push up to $1, I have a gold pocket outlined right now, but that is not accurate unless we pushed up to the dollar mark. So I just want to kind of show that as, sorry, let me get these lines off there.
So there's nothing really holding XRP's price up above 54 cents. That's the next major support, or are there some levels of support that we might not reach 54
on the way down? If we start making our way down a little bit lower at this point, I mean, there's no reason we wouldn't go back to at least 55 cents. And yeah, so to see the move like this though would be, this is what I would almost imagine, and I'd lean this way more than anything. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen, but this would be the move that I think would get everybody really excited, knock out all the shorts, because once again, this is going to be the stop loss. However, most people probably entered short here, right? Because many don't enter right at the high. So it's a really big big gap there to be, putting a stop loss at, or most likely liquidations, because this is probably like 10% gap. Yeah, 15%, pretty wide. Come up, hit the gold pocket, hit your year pivot. And even if you do get a push through that, which a lot of times we do, right? And you'd be looking for that pullback, see if you start to reject from here. And then this is from the yearly low to potentially, if we come up to this dollar, you got the gold pocket coming back all the way down to that major quarterly at 55 cents. So this is kind of the game plan that I'm, kind of preparing myself for. If you weren't in a position, this is, it's look for the next move up here to $1 or potentially all the way back down to that 55 cents. And yeah, when you get a huge move like this, generally the fast moves up do come back pretty fast as well, right? So yeah, that's how I'm looking at XRP at the moment.
I like what I'm hearing, bro. I'm hoping for that 55 cents real soon, let me tell you. There's nothing like shorting XRP down to as low to zero as possible. I mean, it just puts a kick in my step. So there you guys have it. That's the XRP news for all the XRP maxis out there that always need to get their hit on TA. Somebody was literally saying, should I buy? Should I sell? We don't give financial advice here. Okay. Everything is up to your own choice. You do what you want with your assets and your money. This is just for educational purposes. So do with that what you will. But like I said before, smash those likes if you haven't smashed those likes. And if you're not following these creators, Bill Noble and CVO, go check out their links down below in the description. Go follow them on their YouTube channels. They bring great information every single day in their own respective channels, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube or Twitter. Go check them out if you want those TA hits every single day. So let's move on with Dogecoin. It's one of the ones that we don't really ever talk about when it comes to TA, but somehow, some way, I think Dogecoin right now is kind of moving upwards, even though Bitcoin has been moving down. Even though it's not a major move or anything, there's been some talk I posted a video on TikTok the other day and a bunch of comments about people talking about Dogecoin, saying how they're loaded up on Dogecoin because of this news. because they've been waiting for Elon Musk. Are those people doing themselves any service by believing that Dogecoin can pump with Elon Musk and packing their bags with Dogecoin? Bill, what are you seeing for Dogecoin out there?
Okay, well, I think you got to start with people's reaction to resistance. Okay, so here's Doge, right? This is a daily chart. Big DeMark resistance level right up above the market at 0.08 and change. Okay, and there's more up at 0.09. So this was a topping signal here, and it didn't top. Okay, Elon's people are back. Now, one of the things that people may be doing is it's counterintuitive, but a lot of times in bull markets, in mega bull markets, you buy resistance. I know. Magic internet money just like rolled his eyes because you never buy resistance, right? You never do that, right? But that's what they're doing in Doge, right? They're basically saying it's going to break out. So we're going to buy it in advance of the breakout because if it does what XRP does, it'll go up 70% and then we have to chase it. Okay.
That is true.
If Musk is going to build a giant platform, he has to build it around something other than Doge. Now, I think where you get gig along, if you're going to get gig along Doge, you get gig along Doge because Musk is going to bring all of the SpaceX, Tesla headquarters to Austin, Texas, which is a big city in Texas, but Musk could literally take over a city and make Doge or whatever crypto the money of that city.
Isn't he building a city out there? Isn't he building like Giga something?
Dude, he's got a gigafactory out there. If you're going 85 miles an hour, it still takes 4 or 5 minutes to drive. You're on an 85 mile an hour highway, and all you see is that for like 3 to 4 minutes. It's like it never stops. It's so big. Like guys don't walk around the facility; they ride on forklift pallets with wheels.
You imagine he's just building like an ultra ship under that. It's just one day it's just gonna open up, just the rocket is gonna come out of it. Everybody on board.
Or he's going to announce he's taking over a bank, right? In other words,
he's probably gonna become a bank.
Well, he if the Fed lets him, or if the Treasury lets him, right? In other words, you know, Elon has to be careful. He has to put the hint out there with Doge, but a lot of times the first trade is not always the right trade. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
yeah.
Elon has rebranded to X and put the Doge logo up and it didn't break out. So, okay, you can buy resistance if you like. And if you do that, you're going to meet Magic Internet Money and CVO because they sell resistance and buy support. Okay. So, I mean, you know, I want to be enthusiastic about crypto and altcoins. And if he's taking over half the financial system, he's going to need a lot more than Dogecoin. And the science in this market has been to buy everything that's down. Want to know what's down? Like Cardano is down. Just as an example.
That's a good one.
Right? So, you know, everybody wants to buy what's up and everybody wants to do kind of emotional trading. Yeah, why don't we buy Cardano on support, not investment advice? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I love it. I love it. CVO, what are you thinking about XRP? I mean, about Dogecoin right now?
Dude, you got XRP on the brain.
Bro, that pump to 85 cents.
You have a new love for it, man. Just say it.
It's a new level of hatred that I unlock every
bag. You're ready for it. Do the whales pay you to dunk on it?
I wish they should.
They should.
They should, dude. I'm giving them all an opportunity to continuously pack their bags and become financially rich when it takes over the SWIFT system. I'm the one holding the price down. They should be thanking me.
That's my favorite comment of all time.
It totally is.
Do you think the whales see your stuff? For sure. All right. So for me, we trade Doge often. And I know that's the same thing with XRP though. They actually both trade very technically. Funny thing about the news, which I'll say I'll hate on not even hate on the news. I don't even need the news, I guess is what I'll say. Like I don't hate on it. I think that there's a part for it. I think it definitely correlates on timing a lot somehow. Very specifically, like to the XRP chart that Magic put up, man, like the 2 spot came in literally on the day the SEC dropped the case. I mean, you can't make that up. A lot of 2022, every time we had a major pivot in the market, it was on a Fed day, and we could actually see those from, you know, a year out. But regardless, news-wise to me, I just, you know, have to point out even back here, and all this will kind of make sense here in a minute. I'm just going to leave these few things up. But we traded this one specifically. This was a really big move here. And this was last year, I think, right, in October of 23. We had a really big push up into this previous quarter point of control. You had a really wide range here, basically for all the altcoins and everything. This is when we really took the big dump from like April down into May. So you had a really big move here, naked point of control. So this was just an easy target. This was a harmonic pattern as well, with a nice target to the downside, bringing us back to the B leg on the way back. But I do want to say that this, you know, time, this point right here, you know, we got into our positions, had to hold on for a bit, had to be pretty patient, but I was targeting up to this area. This was a pretty big move. And I think that even if you just got in when you re-entered the range, which is probably what most in the group did, it was a 70% move, which wasn't bad, obviously. Even with no leverage, and I would highly suggest not ever using leverage with altcoins, except for maybe Ethereum. But reason being is that they're just they fluctuate so high and so like quickly. You know, 1 to 5% moves. You know, we sneeze that on a daily basis, as everybody knows. But really, with the alts, you just don't need it. You just have to have a strategy in play. So I mean, a 70% move is really freaking good, right? And this came out, I think, when it was this was Elon taking over Twitter. Oddly enough, that was the news of the day at that time. Didn't change the target, right? Nothing, just completely ran through it. Very similar to XRP, right? The SEC drops the lawsuit. Probably the biggest thing that ever happened to any crypto in history, especially with the community behind it and all this and all that. Did absolutely nothing for the price, but run to the target at the time and, you know, consolidate after. So for Doge, yeah, me saying XRP now, we have last quarter range right here, and one target. I'm gonna kind of zoom in a little bit. One target that I'm, you know, really starting to look towards for all the altcoins across the board, and it's going to be interesting to see how we get there, because I do think that we're just going to range sideways for the remainder of the year for Bitcoin. And you know, with that being said, it does one of two things. It will allow for the altcoins to actually get some breathing room, but you know how at times when we get pullbacks in Bitcoin, it's obviously going to pull back of the alts. So it's going to be, you know, temperamental or situational on how you kind of get into some of these. But the year pivots, right? So coming into the year, you know, Magic and I, we were looking at, you know, he brought up Bitcoin at the 26,800 level when we were at 16K in, you know, December of last year. That was derived off of the average of price from last year. And this has a 80% hit rate to be struck during the next session. So that is, you know, during this whole year. So we're running out of dates in this year, right? We got about 4 or 5 months left. Still a big window of time. And the fact that we, you know, kind of had a really big move out of Bitcoin, to me, I think that we're going to start to see that kind of, you know, roll sideways for a bit. I think that we have a big opportunity for a lot of alts, you know, between now and the end of the year to see some of these yearly pivots. So for Dogecoin, it's not really that far away. We do have a current range that we're in that I would imagine gets rotated, especially, you know, whatever, with all the news coming in. But this is what you want to see regardless, right? We had the deviation outside, hit our head, got back in, potentially getting a reclaim right here. You got your point of control at like 7.5 cents, call it 8, running it up to about 10 cents. And then ultimately, I think we'd hit this yearly pivot if we get this, you know, far up. You take out all these highs, you know, that's the natural thing, right? Is to come up and close everybody out that's short, that's just been kind of holding it, not taking any profits, hoping that the market continues lower, comes up, sweeps them out before you just kind of get that pullback after the fact. And then the thing to look at there is the year pivot is going to be the line in the sand for any more upside. And then I do think that we come back to that old range that I was just talking about, where we had that 70% impulse. And I'll show you where that takes us up to. Let's go ahead and take this off. I'm not even going to highlight it. Just, you know, potentially brings us all the way back up to last year's open. And then we got the range high, like 18 cents. But I would imagine a move like between that 11 to 14 cents, you know, could be had just in general. We've had a really long consolidation period. you could almost dress this up. This is going to be a super sloppy one. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't really classify this, but I would probably imagine that many out there are as like a falling wedge or a descending channel. I wouldn't necessarily classify it as that. I don't throw that out there. I'm just, going to outline that that's going to probably be tossed around. Got a gold pocket, comes in right above this region as well. So once again, just kind of like a little bit of confluence between that 11 and really, let's call it 14 cents. But if we get to that region, that's a big take profit, in my opinion. Let's see how big that is, even from where we are. It's about a 50% move. So once again, not a small move. Looks small, oddly enough. And even if we do push up higher, I would imagine that, we get a pullback and kind of see where the tides change. We'll have another Monday TA session, I'm sure, on Debate Crypto, where we'll come in and talk about it. But this is the region you want to see flipped, 11.5 cents. Otherwise, it's just a target for now. And at the moment, I would say we got a shot to run it about 50%. And it'll probably be based on the news, right? That everybody will have as the reasoning. But that's how I'm looking at it.
Dude, that's wild. That's some wild Dogecoin TA right there, let me tell you. I mean, it's true, man. I don't know. I've never been a huge TA guy, but for some reason, somehow, your guys' TA and the news just hit on point all the time. And we've seen a lot of that lately where, like you said, XRP was a perfect example, right? This massive news, the biggest crypto regulation clarity that can ever be expected for the entire space. And XRP, yes, XRP did like 100x. I'm not 100x, 100%, right? But it still couldn't even crack $1. Like,
Right.
there's a lot to say there. That's like these technical levels, and this is the importance of TA, right? Whatever your style is and whatever it is you're trying to learn. If you haven't taken a look at TA before and you're just a dollar cost average, there's something wrong with that. I'm a dollar cost averager, right? And I dollar cost average in my portfolio all the time for years. But I believe that taking a look at TA closely, learning, watching these shows, following different TA analysts like you guys on YouTube and on different platforms really does help, and it starts to open your eyes a lot to a lot of these different things, because a lot of articles, I saw an article just the other day that was talking about how whales are dumping X amount of Ethereum for Chainlink, and that whales are moving X amount of dollars, and all these articles, they're just hit pieces to create some type of emotional feeling from investors, because there's nothing really to talk about and it doesn't really mean anything. And sometimes people really get caught up on the news. Like, I know the XRP community 100% buys up the news and the conspiracy and the narrative. Like, people thought QAnon was bad. I don't think people paid attention to the XRP community and like those like XRP only conversations. I've seen some of them on TikTok. Oh my God. They get so wild.
You nailed it on the head too. And like, I always have a hard time trying to, and I don't know why. I just like when it just comes down to, if somebody asks me like, oh, what do you think of this news or this news? And I will literally go days without, like, if like the SEC, when all that happened, I didn't really know about it for several hours, and it didn't change my opinion or my view. And that is so hard for many to understand, because it's like, I could look at a chart and see it pump, like Dogecoin, for example. If I had no idea about Elon Musk and we got a 50% move right now to 11 cents, right? Like, that wouldn't necessarily change my outlook. And the thing is that I'm positioned for that now. There's no chance that you can trade the news when it comes out as fast as the market moves. You'll look back and you'll see the SEC dropped an article, and in 1 second you have a 40-50% move out of XRP. How could that be actionable on your part? You know what I mean? Like, there's no chance you're going to catch in on that unless you're just going to jump in on, catch the reverse catching a falling knife, right? Like trying to chase the green candles type of deal, which would have been beneficial to some degree if you got in quickly. But otherwise, yeah, if you can position yourself accordingly to some degree with a decent amount of probability, obviously not always going to be right, through TA. And then the news is just gonna, it's one of those old school things where it's like, show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. This is one of those situations where it's like, yeah, Doge looks like it's got some upside. I'm sure there'll be some news that will come out. I'm going to position myself accordingly. And then whatever, Twitter announces a partnership, And everybody will buy the top because they're going to think that it'll go exponentially higher. The news will make you the news is so emotional. That's what will catch everybody every single time. And it's happened to me in the past, man. It's not like I've always had this ability to just kind of ignore it, because that's definitely what got me in the beginning. And I was a big XRP fan to begin with too. But yeah, imagine how many people bought in at almost $1 on the day XRP dropped the case, thinking that it was just going to go absolutely straight up. And it's done absolutely nothing for a week and a half, almost 2 weeks now.
Exactly, right. Where did all that volume, where did all that because the whole thing was that the United States needed clarity. Once that's done, then bam, right, we're off to the races. But people forget we're still in a bear market, and those rules still apply here. And they're not just, XRP is not going to start a bull run just because they dropped a piece of news. And it's been going on for so long, kind of bakes into the price at some point where, it just doesn't really matter. It's only a short-term gain. Long-term, it doesn't really hold. So now let's shift some gears here, and let's talk about some news that's happening, and how could be affecting, this is some of the little pieces that I've been mentioning before that have been lining up for what I believe could be the super cycle, this next bull run. So I'm going to share some articles here. I'm just going to read the headlines, and we don't have to dive into it, but I just want to get your guys' opinions on it. The first one here, let me share my screen. So I'm going to share all of them first, and then we're gonna hit them, because they kind of all work together. So as you guys can see here, my first article up: BRICS leaders say that days of US dollar-centric world are over as group expands trade in alternate currencies, right? And we've seen a lot of this. We've also seen a lot of different countries. Japan, they're piloting a CBDC. There's a lot of different other countries as well right now. I believe Russia just signed into law the digital ruble. And there's a few other countries as well out there. I can't think off the top of my head right now that are all working one way or another with CBDCs. And it's just making a move towards that, right? CBDCs are just taking over everyone's native currencies one way or another. And I believe it has to do with the de-dollarization, the inflation that we've been experiencing these last couple of years. And I think they're getting ready for that reset, right? They're getting ready for that. And then this leads us to the next article here, where there was $78 billion. I'm not even going to share this screen. I'm just going to read it to you guys. Well, actually, I'm going to share it because somebody might not believe me. Somebody might not believe me. $78 billion exits U.S. banking system in 1 week as JP Morgan CEO issues alert on deposit flights. So we got the BRIC nations talking about how, hey, de-dollarization is happening. The dollar's reign is coming to an end. We're seeing $78 billion exit U.S. banking system in 1 week. Plus, the final article here that I want to share with you guys is $57.2 billion has been added to the U.S. debt in 4 days. This is America, right? Where we just print money like that, and spend it for free. So when you guys see all these numbers, right? 78 billion exiting, 57 billion being printed, BRIC nation leaders saying the US dollar reign is over, the CBDCs coming to mainstream adoption in a lot of these countries, the conspiracy of the global reset. Do you guys believe that some of this money that's exiting banking system and, all these things that are happening with CBDCs could be leading or paving a way into crypto? And what does that mean for traditional finance in the next couple of years? Bill, why don't we start with you?
Okay, if money is leaving the banking system, then somebody has decided to put money to work in real assets like commodities. This is just a guess, right? In other words, people may also have sold stocks and they're just literally cashing out huge amounts of money. So
you don't think they're getting ready for that BlackRock ETF, Bitcoin ETF?
Well, if there was a Bitcoin ETF, I'm just curious as to where BlackRock would get the amount of spot Bitcoin needed if everybody who bought the ETF took delivery. Like, where are they going to get all that Bitcoin from? I mean, if Gensler approved that stuff, Bitcoin would go. I mean, there's only 15% of the existing Bitcoin supply is on exchanges. So if you have every big investment house taking delivery of Bitcoin through an ETF, that's a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I believe we're at a 5-year low on exchanges for Bitcoin right now. I believe so.
And I mean, I'm sure there are sellers out there. Miners have it. Now, banks, the Fed's probably going to break things with the rate hikes. And if the Fed doesn't break things, then, the treasury market, interest rates may go up, long-term bonds, like commodities up, wheat, oil up, bonds down. It's like an old school textbook, page 60. Okay. So people may be afraid and be like, you know what? I'm afraid of what could happen to banks and treasury bonds. So I'm going to move money maybe out of the financial system and into fill in the blank. Right.
So follow-up question, you mentioned interest rates. Do you think that they're going to continue pushing the interest rates up the rest of this year until something breaks and maybe we see some more banking collapse like we saw earlier this year? Because people kind of forgot that happened like 5 months ago. 5 months ago, banks were literally closing down and losing money because they just couldn't keep up with what was happening. Do you believe that they're going to continue that down that road?
Well, here's what did into banks. So if you look at this chart, this is ZB. This is long bond futures, the pit that I used to work in back when I was CVO's age, right? So there's the width of this like flag that they've been trading in. And if they travel the width of the pattern from the point of the breakdown, you're looking at 126 to 116, which is a nice way of saying you could be looking at a 7% 30-year mortgage. Okay, so the Fed.
Say that last part one more time. A 7% what?
30-year mortgage. Right. In other words, the long bond ZB, the interest rate that comes off of this, okay, helps determine the 30-year mortgage rate. So
weren't they trying to push for a 40-year mortgage rate? Did that go through or no?
I didn't hear anything about that, but the reason that they pushed for that was because the existing mortgage rate has basically increased the average housing price by 40%. So if you bought a house 3 years ago, right, that would have a certain price at a 3% mortgage rate. That same house, assuming the same price, it's 40% higher because of what's happened with rates and maybe with housing prices. So how's the Fed going to get help with inflation? Okay, they need long-term interest rates higher. They need ZB to go down. Now, if ZB goes down, that's going to spook everybody probably in Bitcoin, believe it or not. Okay, but the Fed needs help. And everybody is also forgetting, speaking on your point, everybody is worried, right, about banks because one of the things that banks didn't manage, which is why they failed, was higher interest rates. In this case, it could be higher interest rates from long-term bonds, not the ones the Fed controls. So there's always a surprise out there. You have to be careful of commodities up, bonds down, right? Like higher oil prices historically not necessarily great for Bitcoin. So, in a way, I agree with CVO. It's like, give those altcoins a chance because Bitcoin may be over-owned. So if somebody's pulling money out of the banking system, they're getting ready to put it somewhere, either hard assets or digital hard assets.
Dude, 100%. So do you believe Bitcoin's like these events that we're seeing right now, right? The 78 billion exiting, the 57 being added to the debt. Do you see this as fuel for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, or do you see this as hurdles long-term for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
Okay, here's an idea. There's a solar eclipse in October. To give you an example of what can happen around a solar eclipse, the last one was FTX. That was the second to last one. And then the other one was in April when Bitcoin went from 17 to 32. Right? You can get huge moves off eclipses. Now, this particular eclipse, you're probably going to have some kind of problem with equities.
There's another one coming this year?
Yeah, in October of this year. right? So you had one in April, you're going to have another one in October, and those normally produce some kind of surprise, right? Or some kind of shock.
Hopefully
Now,
it's a good one.
yeah, well, I was actually thinking that. I'm actually letting my imagination. It's probably equities down or somewhere in there. But I was actually wondering if reality cannot be affected in stocks, bonds, or currencies like fiat, where do you reflect reality? You know how CVO says, show me the chart and I'll show you the news. Well,
Yep.
maybe if the crypto charts improve over time, right? In other words, altcoins don't make a massive new low. They could, but what if they don't? Right? What if the grand awakening just kind of happens in October? Right? What happens if that eclipse makes people go, you know what? I want to own crypto. After all this time
Let's
of
get
waiting,
it.
maybe everybody just sort of genuflects and jumps in.
Super cycle, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So I like to hear.
That's
So
pretty wild.
I don't want to get caught drinking Kool-Aid on the air.
Don't worry.
Don't drink
XRP
it,
Army's got you beat on that one.
Right. Okay. So yeah, there's more Kool-Aid. What is it? Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, Inu. Those guys.
What was that?
Well, dude, that's a meme coin for I don't know. It's a meme coin for very special people, as I understand it. And
Dude,
they're not playing around.
I was literally on Dex Tools looking at some meme coin stuff Keeper and I were messing around with, and out of nowhere I see a ticker that says Bitcoin, and I'm like, okay, and I go and click on it, and then obviously the sub is like all these words Harry Potter and all these things maxed up, and I was like, what is that? I look at it, and it moved up like it's been around for a bunch of months, and it moved up like, what was it, like 8,000% or something ridiculous. I have no idea what it was. I just saw it, and now you mentioned it, so
I mean, it held the 62% retracement of its recent move up. Look, man, the existence of Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, Inu is telling you that people may want alternative currencies. It's also telling you people are bored AF. I get that, right? But it's also telling you people want alternative currencies. So, you look at what CVO drew on Doge. I mean, if Doge is at 11 cents, where's the rest of the market? And somebody's noting here, A1, that there is another eclipse in April of 2024.
That's near the halving event for Bitcoin.
That's right. And but both of those eclipses pass overhead here in Texas. So get ready to rock and roll. What happens if it's rock and roll for crypto? I mean, the last two eclipses, crypto has been, mind-boggling.
Let's get it, bro. That's what I like to hear. Let's get it. CVO, same question for you, right? Let me restate the question. 78 billion exit the U.S. banking system in a week. 57 billion gets added to U.S. debt in 4 days. BRIC nations talking about U.S. de-dollarization going down, right? I mean, de-dollarization increasing, aka the dollar's reign is coming to an end. Multiple countries around the world are all running to CBDC pilots. Where does this leave crypto? Are these obstacles for crypto to overcome in Bitcoin, or are these fuel for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in the long term?
So, it's interesting that Bill brings up that eclipse. I'm not much of a eclipse correlator, but it's interesting to note the timing, because there's between that and there's a couple of the people that have pointed out in the past, like well before major turning points in the market due to some of the eclipses, and it's been an interesting day, each of them. So, and for me, if the market's going to continue sideways, the timing for me comes out of it the first week of November. So hearing that there's this lined up around October, that's interesting. So we'll see how that goes. But as far as anything else, man, some of that money moving around, it kind of makes me think of when you see on Twitter, when you see like breaking whatever X amount of Ethereum moved from an unknown wallet to here, and however that goes. Could it mean that money's coming out and going into hard assets and electrical assets, as Bill kind of noted? Potentially. For me, I still kind of lean on the housing market analysis that I've kind of been going on for quite some time, and it dates back to the 20-year cycle of the housing market, which we've covered on a couple of What If Wednesdays, I think, way back in the day. I probably need to update the video on that. because you know, in at least for the last 100 years, and with 20-year iterations, it's an 18 to 20-year cycle, which obviously the housing market correlates to the stock market and now crypto. When crypto was born, it was a very interesting time frame. You know, the 2009, you know, beginning right after the 2008 collapse, which was the end of the last 20-year cycle, and it's just, you know, you're talking about a couple years potentially ahead of us where we could have some exponential booms. Like, could there still be some pullbacks? Of course, but you know, we're in a recipe, I think, where the markets all as a whole could really push up really hard until about, you know, 2027 to 2029, and I base all that literally without any news, just looking at data wrapped around the housing market. And there's a very simple recipe, and it's literally, you know, 18 to 20 years overall. The first 7 to 10 years, you get an impulse move. There's always a black swan event that causes about a 2 to 3 year sideways consolidation. And then it is always the same. It is high interest rates, high inflation, and everybody expects a recession. And then you get a 4 to 5, 6, 7, you know, you finish off that time frame, generally with a face melting rally, not to use a dumb buzzword, but, you know, in the 60s, you had the initial run up. You had the Cuban Missile Crisis was the black swan event. You had 2 to 3 years of sideways action, uncertainty, high interest rates, high inflation. Everybody expect a recession. 5 to 7 years blow off. In the 80s, run up, I think it was the Gulf War, and the oil crisis at the time was the black swan event. 2 to 3 years of sideways consolidation, high interest rate, high inflation. Everybody expect a recession, blow off top. 1993 started again, runs up 7 to 10 years. We got 9/11 was our black swan event. 2 to 3 years go by, high interest rate, high inflation. Everybody expected a recession. 5 years until 2008 was the blow off top. Restarted this in 2011, which now we have crypto in the mix. And while we have only small 4-year cycle increments to go off of, I still really think that we're building out the first 18 to 20-year crypto cycle. And that could be basically coming to an end in the next couple of years, which is interesting that you bring up like a super cycle idea and all these things. And once again, this is just literally a theory, a thought.
These are facts, baby. These are facts.
This is going to happen. But, you know, where are we right now? You had 2011 was the beginning of this last cycle. 7 to 10 years later, what did we get? COVID, 2020. 2 to 3 years later, where are we at? High interest rates, high inflation. Everybody expects a recession. I mean, it's
so what you're telling me is these events are manufactured, and you know everything is you know part of the simulation.
When you look at Doge, right? When the timing lines up and the news hits, they line up, I guess, is all I'll say to that. But yeah, I'm anticipating overall, and once again, this is like ignoring small intraday and small multi-month pullbacks at the moment. When everybody's expecting that grand Great Depression, all that stuff right now, I think that there's a place for it, but it's probably not for another 4 to 7 years. And then at 2029, I mean, now you got the 100-year cyclical anniversary of the Great Depression, and I do see that could be a time frame where everything just kind of melts down for quite a while, and it could be very, very well where we see like the 10 years without making a new all-time high for Bitcoin and stuff like that right down the road. So, but for now, you know, all this money moving around and what have you, it could be going into, you know, housing, could be going into stocks, could be going into crypto, and I think we just, you know, like I think we got some upside ahead of us.
Dude, I'm for it. Manufactured events that lead us into catastrophe, that then take us into a market rally, along with the simulation, the super trend. Dude, I'm for it. I'm all about it. Let me tell you, I'm all about it. So one last thing I want to cover with you guys here before we sign off is Worldcoin. That has come out today. I also had, I believe, I also had, and they didn't have an X on it. There was an X token out there that already existed that pumped like 2,000% today because everybody thought it had something to do with Elon Musk, which it does not. And it basically has gone nowhere. But outside of that, World Token is, I'll read you guys the article here real quick, a little brief, and I want to get your thoughts on World Token because it's definitely an interesting one. We've all heard about AI. We've all heard about how powerful and dangerous it is. Well, it's getting worse. Let me tell you. So let me zoom in here for you guys. So Worldcoin is an eye-scanning crypto project launched by the guys that created OpenAI, right? The CEO of OpenAI that created ChatGPT and all the ChatGPT variants out there. Like, I feel like we're in the multiverse of AI right now. So The crypto project is focused on reinventing digital identity without compromising a person's real world identity. And I'm not going to jump into all of this, but it was like I said, it was founded by the OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. I guess he's all about the altcoins, and he created his own called Worldcoin. And it wants to prove, are you really a human or not, by scanning your eyeballs. How do you guys feel about AI? And how do you guys feel about AI now making its way into cryptocurrencies, like scanning your biometrics and putting your biometrics on the blockchain? How do you guys feel about that? What are you guys' thoughts about the AI thing in general? How crazy ChatGPT has been. Now the people from ChatGPT are moving in to crypto. Bill, let's start with you.
Okay, as a guy I used to work for writes that, one of the intersection of AI and blockchain is going to be verification. People are going to pay high prices for verification. In other words, are you talking to a real person online? When you buy something, are you buying the genuine article? When you're looking at a photograph, is that really a photograph? So wouldn't you know, the World Economic Forum thinking goes, hey, let's use the decentralized world of crypto to, okay, we'll give you an identity. But I'm looking at their website here and I got it highlighted. It says, it's a digital currency received simply for being a human being. How nice. And it reminds me of an acronym, TANSTOFL, which means there's no such thing as a free lunch. So they're telling you it's privacy, but they're telling you get a world identity, a world ID. Huh? Are you a sovereign? If you have a world ID, are you sovereign? Dude. Open question. Okay.
New World Order, maybe?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, if they've identified a need in the market, and then look what they did. They used the decentralized mechanism. They used Mr. Market to launch World Economic Forum coin. It's out there. Is it overpriced? Probably. But all you need is for some bank to come in and go, oh, yeah, we're going to use this. I mean, seriously, like when I looked at this, I'm like, oh, my God, is this what the XRP army thinks XRP is? Did somebody just out XRP? That's what I said. I was like, no, I mean, you could do retracement mathematics on this, and I guess you're going to have to get volume data before you get nuts. But look, I don't know. I don't want to like judge people. I know the world needs a mechanism where I can scan my phone, prove that I'm over the age of 21 to buy cigarettes or get into a bar without having to give someone my actual age, my name, my address. I should just be able to verify myself and go. Okay, I get that. These guys are trying to do that. And frankly, they should have done it earlier on Bitcoin, Ethereum. They should have done this somewhere. Well, the OpenAI guys are doing it. And, I think you got to be careful if they're saying you can get this money for being human, because that sounds like universal basic income to me. Like they're worried that people are going to get, we're going to give you Worldcoin as, monopoly money so you can shop at the OpenAI store for rations. I don't know, man.
Denver right now.
I would rather own Bitcoin. But
the city of Denver right now is running a pilot for a UBI. They're doing it they're giving away like $1.8 million, and they are literally working on it right now. And they're giving about like $1,000 a year or every couple of months or something like that. And they talk about how it de-stresses the people and it's how it's great and all this stuff. And like, this is one of the few things that's coming along with that CBDC world, New World Order coin, whatever you call it, Worldcoin or whatever, that is all coming in. That's going to be the incentives to get on these platforms, whether it's Worldcoin or CBDC or whatever it is. It's going to be UBIs, tax incentives is how they're going to get people to on-ramp. And then once everybody's on, or the majority of people are on it, then they're going to, just drop the hammer. So this Worldcoin one is definitely an interesting one, in my opinion, when it comes to the AI thing. AI and biometrics, I think it's real crazy, real fast. And adding it onto the blockchain, next thing you know, you're going to have to be scanning your Worldcoin QR code on your wrist, wherever you go. Amazon right now is actually working on the thing where you can pay by waving your hand over the little payment system. So
That's
You guys
actually live at Whole Foods in Austin.
Oh, nice. There you guys have it. It's already live in some places.
Live. Yeah, when I see WLD, man, I look at the chart and I just cheer for Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic Inu, just because I like saying it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, you know, World Economic Forum coin or people who stay up late at night eating Cheetos, drinking Mountain Dew coin. I don't know. You know, the World Economic Forum just used crypto against us all, for better or for worse.
It was only a matter of time, right? They know how to make the moves, and they're never going to be a step behind. They're always going to be a step forward. CVO, what are your thoughts about this Worldcoin AI taking over the blockchain and biometrics?
Well, I'll be honest. I just had to Google it to even know what that was. So, I mean, as far as like any kind of like worry about you know, your eyes and your biometrics and your information being out there, it kind of sounds like when my mom is super paranoid to put her credit card information or anything like that online, yet she has an Amazon account, or yet she uses a debit card anywhere possible in, you know, in person, and thinks that, you know, there's no difference apparently. To me, it's, you know, if you've got an iPhone or a Droid or something that's been unlocking your, you know, phone with your face for the last few years, that information's already out there. I don't think there's anything you can do or anything we, you know, can do to kind of stop that, or like kind of even be upset about it. Really, it's probably going to end up making things more convenient and quick. I mean, even like kind of going back to the credit card deal, like, you know, you have the ability to like tap and pay, like all these things now through, you know, certain kind of technologies that came. AI as a whole, it's kind of, I'm kind of going off of a different tangent here, because I do get the bad that you can kind of point out with it, but you know, it's kind of like if you think back to a time when, you know, you had farmlands were like the main source of, you know, workload out there, and how many people did it take to run a farm, and then they created tractors and you know, certain tools that obviously minimized the amount of people needed, and the workload obviously increased. You know, thinking of things like ChatGPT. You know, I know even for my own self, like utilizing what you know, going through a day of content creation. I mean, even just coming up with captions and a script or whatever. I mean, it's very convenient to have something do it for you in like 2 seconds. And it's
For sure. I agree with you on the convenience factor. It's just the part when it starts thinking for itself. You know, tractors don't think for themselves. Tractors just drive where you drive them. But AI is a whole nother beast, bro. And I just want to, you talked about biometrics. I just want to hit Magic's comment here. He goes, I want to pay by showing my boho. I don't know if that's going to be convenient, but dude, I definitely
meme coin with rectum. Rectum is the symbol. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, rectum swab at the Amazon Pay counter.
Nice. Oh my god! Or just rectum coin in general. You know?
Hey, that's the next meme coin.
You know, could be a spin on words. You know, REKTUM, rectum.
Right, dude. Only in crypto, man. Only in crypto.
Man, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, that was it, man. I was gonna finish it off with, we should be able to just pay with our butthole. So.
Well, there you guys have it. When in doubt, pay with your butthole. But you know, this whole CBDC thing, everything that's happening, I just want to reiterate one more time. I appreciate you guys coming on the show, guys, bringing on your TA, bringing your expertise. So you guys haven't smashed the likes, smash those likes. If you guys haven't followed these two creators, go down to the description, go to their channels, follow them on TikTok, follow them on YouTube, follow them on Twitter, right? These guys are bringing great information in their respective channels every single day. So definitely go show them some support and love. And it's free. Just smash those likes on their videos, watch it, and you're going to learn something at the same time. So just to reiterate, AI, CBDCs, crypto in general, there's a lot of things happening, and I believe once again lining up for this next cycle. If there's going to be a super cycle, I will 100% believe it's going to be this next one. Nothing else lines up better right now than what we're seeing happening for this next cycle. You know, BlackRock, and along with all these other things that we've mentioned today on the show, definitely have all the potential for a super cycle. So we'll see with time, right? We'll be here next year when the halving happens. We'll be here the following year after that, 2025, talking about it again on Mondays and Thursdays. And, you know, hopefully, you know, people are paying attention. Hopefully people haven't been bored to death in the bear market and have just been, you know, been ignoring what's happening in the world and in the markets, and they've been making smart moves. Obviously, we're never here to give financial advice. We're just here to educate you guys. So I hope all of you guys have enjoyed the show. Smash those likes. Any final words for the people, Bill?
Yeah, you got to believe in crypto, and you got to believe in the impossible, right? On February 22nd, if you had said interest rates would be at 5.25% and there'd be a war in Europe and the stock market would go up 30%, people would have looked at you like you were crazy. So the big question is, what's the crazy trade for the rest of this year and next year? So go find it.
It's this one right here. I'm putting up on the screen right here. You guys see that ticker? You buy.
Dude,
buy.
Dude, it's probably, someone's probably launching it as we speak.
Dude, I wouldn't doubt it, bro. I wouldn't doubt it. CBO, final words for the people.
Bill said it best. It's just we'll keep on keeping on. The market right now is definitely a time where you can take your time with certain things and really like get a good grasp on stuff before hype really drives in. I think that the worst is truly behind us as far as the bear market would go. I think that if you're here now and you've been here, then there definitely is a light at the end of the tunnel. And just keep on continuing your journey with the markets, and your investments, building your portfolios, and hashtag rectum is all I got to say.
Right on.
So there you guys have it. Continuously, like always, question everything, trust nothing, and until next time, hodl like it's hot. See you guys.